A few days before Lawton was leaving for tennis camp, he and Henry appeared late one afternoon with a shoebox, a bag of disorganized art supplies, and a 2-by-3-foot poster board. Lawton hugged a large book with the title Owls.
"We need your help,"
Henry said. Eliza placed the shoebox on the kitchen table and sat down and pulled out a chair for Lawton. She patted the seat. "Here, Lawton, sit here." She helped him put his large book on the table. She took off the top of the shoebox. Inside, she saw a baseball and an unfinished papier-mâché object. "Okay, Lawton, what do we have here?" Eliza listened as Lawton described his summer project. He had to choose one animal that lived in South Carolina and make a presentation to his class when they all returned in September. Eliza looked back in the box and lifted out the papier-mâché object that resembled a cross between a garden gnome and an unidentifiable species of rodent. "And this must be the beginnings of your owl?" Lawton nodded. "Dad did most of it." Eliza looked at Henry, who was leaning against the wall with one shoulder. He uncrossed his arms to press his hand over his mouth to cover a smile. "And the baseball?" Eliza turned back to Lawton. "That's how big its eye would be if a screech owl were our size. See?" Lawton picked the baseball up and held it in front of his eye. "Dad said they can't move their eyes, just their necks, like this." Lawton demonstrated by turning his neck left, then right as far as he could. "But they can make a full circle." "I didn't know that," Eliza said, and she looked back in the box. She picked up a feather. "And this?" "It's a screech owl feather. My dad found it for me." Eliza remembered the morning Henry had found this feather. "It's beautiful." Eliza reached back in the box and picked up one more feather. "How about this one?" "Oh, that's just from our garden. I think it's a dove feather. It's just there to show the difference. See?" Lawton touched the bare side of the owl feather. "It only has veins on one side."
"It's freezing in here," Henry said.
"I know it is, isn't it? Cornelia was here this morning, boiling a pot of shrimp, and I think she must have turned the air conditioning up." Henry stood up and looked behind the door at the control.
"No wonder,"
he said, and adjusted the dial.
"It's set just above Arctic chill. How does 72 degrees sound?"
"Hey, but now," Henry said, reaching into the box for the object that looked like nothing more than some strips of newspaper, badly orchestrated into a lopsided ball,
"Lawton and I are hoping you can help us with our sad little friend."
Eliza held her hands out to receive the object. She turned it around and over. "Okay, well, it is a little sad, but we can work with this. Do you have any pictures we could look at?" "Oh, yes." Lawton opened his book to the double-page spread on screech owls. Henry held the back of the chair.
"Hey, listen, I think I'm going to go home for a bit if the two of you are sure this project will not suffer without my presence. I need to get some things done. I'm meeting tomorrow morning with the president at Citizens and Southern about getting some financing lined up for the paper in New Orleans if we go ahead. And the head of the Coastal Conservation League is coming to see me in the afternoon. He sent me a package on the controversy surrounding the Port Authority's request to deepen the harbor. There's an informal hearing on it next week, and the League wants the support of the paper."
"Do you know what you're going to do?"
"Not yet. There's no easy answer. I understand both sides. Charleston depends on the port for jobs and has to stay competitive. The conservation groups fight hard against anything that has negative environmental effects, and Charlestonians don't want any more tourists."
For the next 2 hours, Eliza and Lawton discussed screech owls. Lawton told her how he and his dad had rescued one. It had been hit by a car and had a broken wing, and they took it to the wildlife sanctuary at Charlestown Landing. "I named him Screechy. Sometimes my dad takes me to visit him. You can come next time if you want to." "I'd like that." Maybe this wasn't going to be as difficult as she had feared. Eliza knew Lawton needed time to adjust to her presence, but she needed time, too. She and Henry had made it through the tough parts, and now there was a luxury in enjoying where they were and not rushing to where they wanted to be. She asked Lawton how the dog search was going, and he told her about all the breeds he liked: Australian Shepherds, German Shepherds.